Yeah, absolutely. I just love it, and you learn so much out here. It's unbelievable, and what an environment. Everyone's helpful, and you just continue to learn, and you can, you know, get up to a place like this. It's just fantastic.
Right, mate, on your CV, that's a podium for a New Zealand Grand Prix. Special day for you today.
Yeah, it's a good one. I might have a couple of beers tonight, I think, and then head back to work. But no, I'm just thrilled with that. I really chipped away, and oh, it's just great. I'm absolutely stoked.
All right, Johnny Lewis Builders, are you going to Timaru next weekend, round 2?
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Oh, no. Bother. So it'll just be a jeep. Any chance of joining us in the North Island?
Yeah, maybe. Yep. The bike's going really well, so there's no reason why not. It's just a bit of a heavy workload in the new year. So unfortunately, but hey, fantastic. Congratulations to Dennis and Nathaniel. They really rode really well.
Well done. So there it is. Thank you, Johnny. Good performance. So here we are as we... I was going to say, has he gone and hop in the wheelchair? But no, don't be rude, Neil. Dennis Charlotte's still doing it, mate. How's that?
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. It's just, like I said, at lunchtime, it's done it most of my life, and I just love it. So, yeah, just riding hard. It's good.
All right, what do you got to do to beat that guy in the wheelchair up in front of you?
I don't know. We'll take it away next week and see if we can get some more power out of it and come to him at Timaru.
Good to see. Well done, Dennis. Great to see. And Deed sitting up here on the bike, a smile on your face. Yesterday when that bike was going flip-flop, did you think you could be here on the podium now, Nathaniel?
No, honestly, I didn't know if I could ride at all today. I was pretty sore yesterday, and to be honest, I'm fairly sore now, but gave it my all, and yeah, very happy to be here today and riding still, and yeah.
Does the adrenaline overtake the pain?
Yeah, totally. Once the lights go out and the race starts, adrenaline takes over and just do what I have to do. But yeah, the right-handers are a bit tricky, but yeah, lucky it's a left-handed track, and yeah, I felt pretty good on the bike still. Just a bit sorer than usual, but I'm still able to ride, so that was very nice.
Well done, Nathaniel Diprose. There he is, folks, your Superlight New Zealand Grand Prix champion. Well done.
Okay, folks, I'm not too sure whether I'm talking over Neil Ritchie. I can't quite hear his feedback from his microphone. But right out on the track at the moment, we have the 125 GP class. I can't see where Neil is, so I apologise if that's happening.
Yeah, it's definitely happening down there.
He's still interviewing Seth?
You can't have the light turned off because you can only hear him.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to take that as we can't hear him, so we're going to get on to this 125 and Moto 3 GP monos, I think, 250 monos. I think we've got to start to, it is a 125 GP class, but right out in the front after throwing his chain in, right out in the front is Blaze Heaven on the 59 machine. Reagan Phibbs unfortunately threw a chain. Yeah, disappointing to lose those points, but the main thing is they're back in action for the New Zealand Grand Prix for the 125. I can tell you that the Supersport 150 class has been cancelled. We're running out of time, and the Jigsaw Cup race next will be shortened to 5 laps. So action of plenty of these 4-strokes. You're a big fan of the...
Oh, very, very tight fight in there into scope. Not sure who that was. I'm going to go back into 5th and 6th place. Daniel Jenkins and John Medlin had a little... One of those battles that only 125s can have. One of those ones where they're both on the same inch and a half of asphalt, and they both keep it together. Something you can't really do on other bikes, but these little bikes got so much grip, so much corner speed, and such a good little chassis, you could just get away with murder sometimes. How good is that though? Blaze Haven on that Moto 3 bike, Regan Phibbs right behind him, and Zayna Gate trying to get the deal done on Chris Kane, but they just haven't got an answer for those 4-stroke bikes anymore, do they?
Not at the moment, but maybe on some of the other tracks there. What do you think at levels? Do you think the 4-strokes will be dominant, particularly this BSP Bike Sports promotion bike out in the front is pretty strong, but you know, we saw the IMD bike set pole position at Hampton Downs last year. Do you think the 2-strokes will be able to get up there?
You know, it's funny because I would have thought that the tracks that the two-stroke were going to be the strongest would be the ones with the most corner speed. Anywhere where you need torque and drive off a corner, the four-stroke will probably have it. So unfortunately for the two-strokes, they're not going to Teretonga, because I would have said that that would have been an outstanding track for a two-stroke.
Yes, indeed. And right now, as of the last lap, it was Blaze Heaven, Reagan Phibbs, Chris Kane, Zayna Gate, Campbell Grayling on the 58 machine, John Medlin, Daniel Jenkins, Chris Malcolm, Scott Topping, Jason Hearn, Brian Hardacre, Nicky Smith. After a crash earlier this morning, mentioning a lot of crashes, but there has been Leon Jacobs and Benjamin Green. Apologies to the Bike Sport promotion, to the team Aspire. You did send me some information on my phone about your team, and Aaron Lambourne and I think maybe Nigel are out for the South Island rounds, but my phone has died completely and I'm unable to charge it. So thanks for sending that information, but unfortunately that is lost on me at the moment. Let's have a look at the Bright Sports promotion team. Team riders: Blaze Heaven, Jason Hearn, Nicky Smith, Chris Malcolm and Scott Topping. Wow, that's what we do. We are a motorsport agency with one defined purpose: development and growth of young racing talent. Our race academy focuses on talent in the 125 class and globally popular Moto3 class. So it's called the 125 GP class. Sponsors: Motor New Zealand, Bike Vault Auckland, Henshaw Signs, Talent Connect Recruitment, www.bsp racing.com, Motormart Wellington, AGV Helmets, RST Leathers and Nationwide Accessories. So great presentation on those bikes as well. That battle for the 125 bikes is the GP bikes. Icon Corner, three of them banging out. Zayna Gate, Chris Kane and Campbell Grayling. Chris Kane closes up under brakes on Zayna Gate. I'm amazed at how quick Zayna Gate is. He won the Superlight class a few years ago.
On a ZXR 400, yeah.
Yeah, but he's been out of action for a couple of years, and all of a sudden he gets back on this bike and has lost none of his style, none of his ability, and none of his smiling either. But those guys battling it out as they come into the Christchurch Casino carousel, as we see Reagan Phibbs on the 83 machine come out of that, and ahead of them, Blaze Heaven there, Seth Devereaux.
Yeah, the battle for third for me is the standout at the moment. I mean, it looks like it's going four ways, and how good is that? How long is it since we've seen a real decent scrap at Ruapuna? Oh, look at that. They're doing things you can only do in a 125. Have a big look, stop, keep it back online, and it virtually loses no pace. They're just so responsive. Little inputs and you can get away with murder. I was fortunate enough to win a New Zealand 125 Grand Prix Championship in 2000 and... oh, now we're dragging it out. 11, 10, something like that. Back in my day. But not a lot's changed, actually. The current lap record is actually still held. Apparently my hair's longer, and that's about all that's changed. But the lap record in 125 is still held by Steve Ward, a minute 38.8. Now, there has been a man recorded at New Zealand Superbike Championship to go faster, none other than Alistair Hugenbotham, the Race 1 Superbike winner from yesterday, but he only did it in qualifying, and then it rained for the races. How unfortunate is that? So he had about half a second, it was a high 37, so nearly a full second quicker than Steve Ward's fastest lap time, but unfortunately for him, it wasn't the count. It was wet for the races, and he never managed to put on the board, and I think that was the year that Alistair and Tim MacArthur scrapped it out to the bitter death, and unfortunately for Tim, Alistair got him, but the previous year was the other way around. So between those two guys who you would have seen winning races this weekend, they both cut their teeth in 125 Grand Prix.
And Cam Jones as well.
Absolutely.
Was he the youngest ever winner for New Zealand Championships?
Yes.
Yep. The late Cam Jones on the number 26 machine. You'll see 26 still displayed on a lot of bikes somewhere along in memory of the young Cantabrian. And
yeah, that's the number we ran 26 in America this year. So Cameron's brother Dominic, who's here, he used to race AMA Pro, and when we went to go race in the States, Shane's number 28 wasn't available. So I asked Pete and Felicity if it'll be okay if we ran 26 on the bike, and asked Shane if he'd be happy to do so, and that's what we did. So 26 all around America this year in memory of my good mate and friend of a lot of riders here, Cameron Jones. Obviously sadly passed away at an accident at Levels a few years ago. So, but anyway, back to the racing here. Blaze Haven, he's got a 7-second lead, so a very healthy lead over Reagan Phibbs. And Regan has a 3.8 second lead over the fight for third place. The fight between Zayna Gate, Chris Kane, Campbell Grayling and John Medlin. And Campbell Grayling is a kid that I think we should probably keep our eyes on for the future. Young kid from Taranaki, used to ride a 250 production bike.
Won last year's New Zealand Championship 250 class.
Won last year's 250 championship class. There you go. I mean, I don't know what I was doing asleep, didn't pay attention to that, so good on him.
Oh, you were busy rolling up the sleeves and repairing bikes, probably. Busy, and yeah, no, you can't keep an eye on everything at the track, and even me, you know, you've noticed my memory. I can't remember everything I've seen. I spent 17 days at race meetings in December alone, and then back down to Nelson Road races a few days ago to see the likes of Vanessa Woodley-Gill that's at this meeting, and Johnny Lewis and a couple of others there. And good to see Jay Lawrence. Went round the Superbike in the wet and he says, no, mate, I've got New Zealand Championships coming up, so he elected not to ride. So,
yeah,
you know, instead of being the hero and damaging things, he went out and just enjoyed Nelson for the day. It dried up later on, but yeah, it was a great meeting. So, and of course, next weekend we've got Timaru, and then a couple of weeks later, 3 weeks later, I think I'm off to the Pukekohe Classics. Don't think I'll get to the Burt Munro Challenge this year. I think my partner wants to go to Northland.
So I'll let you know a wee secret here that Spider might not know yet, but I'm actually working in commentary with him at the Classic in Pukekohe. So I got the ring yesterday from Barney Smith to say, can you shoot some video and spin some yarns with Spider? So it looks like I'll be back up there doing that. But
bring your deodorant, I'll bring mine. It's a very hard weekend in that commentary box up there with the pigeons landing on there and emptying their catches and that. But that's what it's needed for some years. It's an isolated unit, very hard to pick up the track, and it'll be great that's good on them for doing that.
So back to the action here. Obviously Blaze still out front on that beautiful Honda 250 and an NSF 250 Moto3 bike, which is what you see when you watch MotoGP. If you were to sit down and watch MotoGP on television nowadays, you'd see the Premier class, 1,000 cylinders, where you find your Marc Marquez's, your Valentino Rossi, your Danny Pedrosas. Then you go back a class to Moto2, and then you go back one more to Moto3, and that's where you'll find the 250 single-cylinder four-stroke, similar or the same to what Blaze is absolutely destroying the field with at the moment, and he's out up front with the best lap time of a 39.5, and he has a 10-second lead. So 3 from 3 from this for this young man, and a New Zealand Grand Prix title to add to it if it finishes the way it is going now. So
7 laps to go. Blaze Heaven, Regan Phibbs, Zayna Gate in third place. That's 59.83.93. We go to the red bike of Chris Kane, Campbell Grayling, John Medlin, who did a couple of rounds last year on the ex Rogan Chandler 125 that he won the New Zealand Championships about 3 years ago. Daniel Jenkins, Chris Malcolm, Jason Hearn, Scott Topping, Brian Hardacre, Leon Jacobs, Nicky Smith from the Hawke's Taranaki, and Benjamin God. And where this pops into my head.
Taranaki like no other, they keep telling me. It's a beautiful spot, but I don't know, I've got a soft spot for Gore myself, so it might not be the popular view, but it's mine.
They had a beauty contest in Gore once, nobody won.
That's not true. Barbara's still looking good. Oh, the jokes. We probably shouldn't do this during the commentary though, Spider, but
why not?
Why not, he says. How good is that battle? How good is the battle for third place there? Zayna Gate having a monumental scrap with Chris Kane. Chris is one of my favourites in the pits. He's definitely one of the most exciting characters to meet. He'll never go to a race meeting just down State Highway 1. He'll find all the little spots to go visit. He'll see the whales. He'll jump off a waterfall. He'll get videos of something. And he turns up the next weekend and he's just about more fun during the week than he has at the weekend.
Is that because his car has no warrant, no red, Joe?
It sounds like something I'd do. I mean, oh, what a terrible person.
Great. Blaze Heaven still leads the 125 Grand Prix class, which has merged with the 250cc four-stroke machines, and you can see him going into the Fulton Hogan flip-flop just before that, into the hairpin, and out of the hairpin 83 Regan Phibbs, and these other two guys are closing in there as well, Zayna Gate and Chris Kane. So what's happened to Regan Phibbs? He's dropped into the 42s. The other two guys are running in the 41s with 6 laps to go, so maybe Phibbs has experienced some sort of problem. Maybe he's slowed down due to pit board and that, but pretty soon he's going to have that buzz of two strokes in behind him, Seth Devereaux.
I tell you one thing, this is a very long race to run on that little fuel tank. I hadn't noticed how long the race was, but that's a long way to go on a little wee fuel tank, because those little 125s are only about 70 kilos full of gas ready to go. So previous events we've seen track marshals have to lift them up and take them over fences or off the track, and they do it with absolute ease. They make it look like a kid's toy. So yeah, a little wee fuel tank. Maybe he might be having to conserve some fuel, or maybe he's having a problem. Maybe he's tired, cramped, or maybe he's just conserving. We'll see.
Of course, the 4-strokes use less fuel than the 2-strokes, but it all depends on the size. And this is a custom-made fuel tank. I watched on Facebook this year with the team owner, Steve Bagdall, Dr. Steve Bagshaw, constructing this fuel tank. But in the end, we had a 2.3-second gap there in the last race. We're just waiting for our screen to refresh.
In the last lap, sorry, yeah.
In the last lap, and now it's down to 1.9. So with 5 laps to go. But once he gets the sound of these bikes in there, it's time to possibly crack open that throttle, and I'm sure he's got it there. Reagan Phibbs doing double duties this weekend. The battle behind, Zayna Gate is on the black colour bike, and the red one of Chris Kane. That's going into the hairpin. Kane closes right up on the inside, in behind I should say. I thought he was going to go on the inside, but a Gate gets a drive out of there as they drive into the Fulton Hogan corner and getting closer to that 83 machine of Reagan Phibbs. Seth Devereaux.
Yeah, it's an interesting little battle we've got going here, because Chris, I wonder if he has maybe more pace than Zane, but less experience at this track in his current form. So Zane's done a lot of laps around Ruapuna, where I would hazard a guess and say that Chris only comes here for New Zealand Superbike Nationals. So when you find a talented rider who hasn't been to a track for a while or before, they just get better and better and better as the weekend goes on. And as the rider who's been there more, that maybe has a little less pace, it's quite intimidating. It's quite a trick to manage, working out how you're going to break them and what you're going to show them and what you're not going to show them and when you're going to show it. It's a bit of a psychological mind game. So
I didn't catch up with Chris till before. I didn't actually ask him. He's coming back from injury where he damaged himself crashing a 50cc bike. He got a really good tow down the straight at levels the other day, crashed the 50 and was a bit sore, so he hasn't had much track time recently. So, but he looks all healthy and riding that bike pretty well hard. So a 1.9 second gap between second and that group of third and fourth there. We had what do we have? We've got 13 seconds out in the front, and now it's 1.7, so that gap not closing down as much as it did before. Maybe the pit crews there are indicating, maybe the boards are out there saying, listen mate, they're coming along, but that battle going into the Icon corner. The red bike with Chris Kane on there is getting closer to Zayna Gate. There was a lot of action on the hairpin here last lap. It's a lot to close up there, but here he comes up on the inside there, Seth Devereaux.
Wow, what a movement. I've got Neil chomping at the bit in the background. Neil, you had something you were going to say there, mate?
No, that's fine. We've got a little bit of racing, and we're just looking with a few laps to go that we've always got to make sure we mention our sponsors.
Absolutely.
Without them, and particularly this fantastic new banner that we've got down here, and the work of Lisa Wilson with Motorcycling New Zealand and getting our sponsors on board. They're on the front of the program as well to acknowledge, so please take an opportunity, because we've been able to give this great video and audio footage to the rest of the world and those that can't be here free of charge on the World Wide Web. So just fantastic. CTAS Live, folks, there is none better. They're your web and tech servicing experts. Our thanks to Suzuki, Simon and the team at Suzuki for making it happen with the Gixxer Cup riders from 14 to 21 years of age hitting the tracks on identical Suzuki GSX 150Fs, and also kicking the series off with the Gixxer Cup coupled with the recent Suzuki series. Honda Cars with Mick Ruane and Honda Cars Men Tour sourcing our safety medical car for the championship person and organising the super cool branding, delivering the circuit, car to the circuit above and beyond. Thank you to Mick. Of course, with Pirelli Paris, nothing without control, with Alan Napier and Paul Marsh. I've had the privilege of knowing Paul for many years, and he's a young, talented marketing man making it happen with Pirelli. The choice of tyres for our champions, as well as supporting partners like CTAS Live, MX Timing and Track, and love having Nicole, Will and Di on board as well down there. So thanks, guys. Corprint, your corporate print experts, and our fabulous program and posters. Our round one sponsor, and Tony Brown. God bless you, Tony. You're a legend, and we thank you for your continued support. Underground Brown and also Blacktop Brown, and the support of the 600 class with Trevor Pierce, your destination store here in Canterbury, along with Dyno Works, Motorcycling Canterbury, Budget Motorcycle Spares, Hoogie Racing, Avon City Suzuki and the Gixxer Cup, and Muzzers Bikes for the fantastic support class of 150s as well. Can't do it without you all, and love your appreciation. And we're getting down to the business end of racing for this Grand Prix title here at this stage, and with Spider and Seth doing the update of sponsorship and of racing. I've done the sponsors. Let's get back into it.
3 laps to go as of last lap there. 1.739 gap between this Reagan Phibbs in second and that bike in third. It's now down to less than a second, so that's a hell of a bit good effort. And Chris Kane set his fastest lap, so here we go. He almost seems to have shaken off Zane again once he got past the hairpin, but Zane's not given up. 3 to 4 bike lengths, but it's about 12 bike lengths off to Reagan Phibbs. The New Zealand Grand Prix, we see Blaze Heaven there come onto the front straight, down through the start-finish line on 59. Takes the, oh no, didn't take the white flag. It's 2 laps to go now. 2 laps to go, looking for this battle. I said it would close up. I don't see any problems with Reagan Phibbs because he said it's the fastest lap on lap 8, so maybe he was just conserving time as we see Nicky Smith go through there. So Reagan Phibbs goes through there, and Zayna Gate is back in the mix here, right on the tail, slipstreaming Chris Kane. They go up to turn 1 here, and who's on the inside? Zayna Gate makes it stick there, Seth Devereaux.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky to see from our position, but man, what a battle we've got going on the front here. And just while we were talking there, we've had someone fall off in back play. Mr. John Medlin, number 20, has just tipped off at the scope left-hander. He's sitting over there by the bike, helmet off. He looks well. I wouldn't say happy as I made that mistake before and I just about lost my seat up here. So, yeah, there's definitely a big battle going on for second, though. And it looks as though Zayna Gates made the move on Chris Kane, who's got caught behind a lap rider. And Zane's looking to make some moves for second place on Reagan Phibbs. And we've got 2 laps to go, or a lap and a half to go. So, be interesting to see if Chris has got past the lap rider. Let's see if he can catch up, and if Zane can make a move on Regan for the second spot on that podium, which is an outstanding ride considering they were like 4 or 5 seconds behind. It's whether, I can't decide whether Regan started going slower or whether the other boys started going faster.
Regan and Zayna Gate set their fastest lap on lap 10, the last one, and in fact the last lap Chris Kane 41.2, 41.1 Reagan Phibbs, so just that marginally quicker. But right now we're going into the dipper with that race. This is for second place, 83, followed by 93, followed by 6. Having had a change of position, and it's going to be about slipstreaming down the front straight as the white flag comes out for the BSP Bike Sport Promotions NSF 250 in the 125 Grand Prix class. Blaze Heaven, he's almost got this done and dusted. We're not going to put the commentator's curse on there. The front straight here now, it is 83, 93 there.
Zayna Gate, the 2-stroke making the move on the 4-stroke. Let's see what Regan's got from it. Let's see if Chris just got stuffed up a bit much or if we can pull something out. It's going to be interesting because if Zane and Regan start to fight, if they have a wee tussle, then it might turn into a 3-way fight here, which is going to be pretty exciting.
A blistering lap for Zayna Gate in third place on the 11th. Heaps at 0.9 of a second quicker, so he's in front there over in the Icon corner. Did that at the end of the front straight, and he's opened the gap a bit more, so he's faster and faster. Remember, Reagan Phibbs is pretty strong, so this is the minor, well, the second, third and fourth place for the podium. Fourth is not a podium, of course, I understand that, but there it is, into the Fulton Hogan corner, the black bike, the Zayna Gate number 93, 83, Reagan Phibbs on the fluorescent coloured bike.
And just on their way into the dipper here, we've got the race leader, outstanding ride from young Blazehaven. I mean, you can't go past that, start to finish, flag to flag. As long as he makes this last left-hander and I haven't put it on him, he'll be 2018 New Zealand 125 Grand Prix GP national champion.
We are. Oh, Reagan Phibbs up on the inside. Oh, how did he get away with that?
Door shut. How good. What a drive.
Zayna Gate come back at him, and they've been swapping paint just about. Right now we've got a lapper. There it is, Blaze Heaven, 59 New Zealand Grand Prix 2018
national
for
champion.
the BSP Bike Sport Promotions team. A lapper going through there. Scott Topping from Australia. The race is on here for second place. The lap has been passed. It is going to be
Zayna Gate. How good. Zane second and Regan Phibbs third. And I would say a disappointed Chris Kane because he was every bit quick enough, but he just caught a lap rider in just the wrong spot. So unfortunate result for that young man.
Still a result and still upright. So that's first, second and third and fourth goes through there. Blaze Heaven, Zayna Gate, Reagan Phibbs, Chris Kane. I think that's Nicky Smith on the 66 machine from Taranaki. Got that one right this time. She's a lapper, and that'll be 58 going through Campbell Grayling. Daniel Jenkins come back from a crash yesterday on the 16 machine. Looking out, I think, Chris Malcolm, Jason Hearn, and Brian Hardacre. All the other backmarkers have been passed. So those 3 guys maybe coming onto the front straight. There should be a third one. one out there. There's the third bike coming through the Southern Salvage. So it is indeed number 5. Chris Malcolm, Jason Hearn and Brian Hardacre going into the dip to round up the final race of the 125 GP for the weekend. And Seth, mate, it's an intense job commentating. You haven't done it for a year, just slot it in. We might as well have walked out. You just, no, well, what, you know, I don't have the technical knowledge and that sort of thing. And
I think